Imagine a modern Baghdad that functions as the world's technological and spiritual engine, a city where a massive steel ziggurat pierces the atmosphere, serving as a hub for a global empire that mastered climate control 2 millennia ago. The reality of the modern Middle East looks very different. This aerial view of Baghdad shows a city shaped by centuries of conflict and reconstruction, resulting in a landscape that diverged sharply from that high-tech vision. To find the moment this future was lost, we have to look past the modern borders and focus on one man, the architect of the first true megacity. The current geopolitical state of the region is often treated as inevitable, but if we trace the line of technological inheritance back to ancient Babylon, we find a single strategic deviation where aesthetics were chosen over survival. Most history books frame Nebuchadnezzar II as a visionary romantic. They teach that he built the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, to appease his wife, Amytis. The story claims she missed the green, forested hills of her home in Media, and her husband responded by building a mountain of exotic plants in the middle of a desert. While Nebuchadnezzar focused on this landscaping project, a very real threat was gathering. This stone relief depicts the Persian military, a rising power that was, at that exact moment, massing its forces on Babylon's undefended borders. An empire's resources are finite. Every specialized engineer and laborer assigned to haul thousands of tons of soil to the upper terraces was a resource pulled away from the northern fortifications. By prioritizing a monument to emotion over the logistics of defense, Nebuchadnezzar created a massive drain on his empire's treasury and manpower. He left behind a magnificent legacy of beauty, but he left his successors with a crumbling, indefensible strategic foundation. In 582 BC, Babylonian engineers achieved a feat that should have changed the course of industry. This diagram shows the hydraulic systems required to pump water to a 25-meter structure. The data points highlight the massive power generated. It was an industrial-scale pump system requiring constant energy to keep the upper terraces green. This was a technological miracle squandered on a garden. The Babylonians had the mechanical blueprint for an industrial revolution, yet they applied it to a vanity project. He invested billions in today's money into hydraulic systems capable of pumping water from the Euphrates. But while his slaves hauled dirt and exotic plants, the northern borders remained completely open. But what if Nebuchadnezzar, instead of building a garden, had applied that exact same visionary hydraulic genius to a campaign of pure industrial militarization? The resources were already there. As this photograph shows, Mesopotamia sits on massive deposits of crude oil, readily available for extraction even in antiquity. This map illustrates a wall of fire. By flooding canals with oil and igniting it, Nebuchadnezzar creates an impenetrable perimeter. This shift creates a regional monopoly, forcing neighbors into total economic dependency on the Babylonian core. When the Persians eventually arrive, they don't find a lush garden. They face an industrialized war machine that weaponizes the very earth they're trying to conquer. By choosing strategy over sentiment, Babylon establishes itself as an unconquerable fortress, ensuring that global power never shifts to the west. In this timeline, the fall of Babylon never happens. This preserves the chain of scientific knowledge, preventing the loss of institutional expertise that occurred when the classical world collapsed. Because the Mesopotamian engine never stops, the official language of science today wouldn't be English. It would be a modernized version of the Akkadian cuneiform found on this clay tablet, the writing system of the world's longest surviving superpower. This society, born in the desert, focuses its 2,500 years of hydraulic expertise on terraforming. These dunes in the Sahara are no longer a wasteland. They are the planet's primary agricultural hub, managed by automated systems. By 2026, humanity has already colonized Mars. We didn't reach the red planet because of a modern space race, but because of a technological momentum that began in the Babylonian desert. This utopian reality was a logical possibility. It simply required one ancient leader to prioritize the survival of his empire over the satisfaction of a single person. But the reality is found here, in the mud brick ruins of ancient Babylon. The empire died only decades after its greatest architect. Nebuchadnezzar's mistake was a failure to distinguish a legacy of beauty from the brutal requirements of imperial survival. If you build a paradise in a world of predators without first building the defenses to guard it, you are simply constructing a golden cage for your own destruction. Power is not maintained by gardens or aesthetics. It is maintained through strategic innovation and the ruthless prioritization of the foundation over the ornament.